Build a free website with Google Sites for beginners. Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys step by step on how you can create your own free website using Google Sites. Now I'm going to make this tutorial as detailed as possible so you guys can follow along and build your own website. The first thing to get started with is to use our Google account. So you're just going to log on to your browser, and on the top right, you will see your Google account. I have logged on to my Google account, and you will have to log on to your Google account to get started. Once you do that, you can directly click on Google Apps and then scroll down. Once you scroll down, you can go ahead and go into the marketplace for Google Apps, or simply search for Google Sites on your browser. Once you do that, you're just going to click on the first link, and this will lead you to Google Sites. Now, because you're logged in on your browser, this will directly open up Google Sites for your account. This is Google Sites' basic interface. On the right, you will see a poppable menu bar. Then on the right side, you will have a template gallery. In this template gallery, you have a couple of different templates that you can use to start building your website. However, I want to get started from scratch. So I'm going to click on blank site over here to get started. Once you do that, you can get started with designing. Now on the top right, you're going to name your website. Let's say this is going to be our portfolio website. And then on the top right, you want to enter the website name. So let's say this is going to be called Midge Maisel. Once I do that, I want to start building the first page. The first page is usually your home page, and it serves as an introductory page to all of your content. So in this, you will see a basic header. You can click on the header type to choose the type of header you want, whether it's a cover header, large banner, or title only. I want to go with a large banner, and I'm going to remove the text up top. Now it's time to add our own images. You can use platforms like Pixels as well as FreePic, Vecteezy, Shutterstock to find free images. So I'm just going to be using a couple of different images off of these royalty-free websites. And I'm just going to be building a portfolio for this persona over here. And I'm just going to save this image, and we're just going to be using it. Now I'm going to click on upload, and I can upload our image like so. Now, after I've done that, I'm going to reintroduce the text box. So on the bottom right, you will see the anchor. So you can actually move the image around a bit so you can reposition it to whatever you prefer. I'm just going to reposition it like so. Then you can click on the readability option. The sparkle icon is for readability. Now I'm going to add a text box, and once I do that, I'm going to take this, not over here, but instead, I do want to add some text over here. And I'm just going to drag this text box over here and then resize this simply by holding the blue button. Midge Maisel, the star who went, or Midge Maisel, a actress, or a performer, comedian, mother, entertainer. Now I'm just going to change this up a little because I just want my portfolio to look a bit interesting. Now, once you type in text, you can select individual lines of text and then change the style of the text as well. You can make it a heading, you can make it a subheading, or small text. You can also click on the font over here to change fonts of individual elements within a text box. I'm going to move this text box over here, and I'm going to place it up top a little. Now from here, I want to change the font of it throughout. So I'm just going to click on it over here, and I'm going to choose a semi-bold font. I'm going to change this one as well. And I think I want to go with a different font. So I'm going to go with the slightly fun one. And then for this, I'm going to use something different. I'm going to go with Merriweather Bold. Now, once I've done that, I can proceed with the positioning of the text within the block. So I'm going to align this to the center. And I want to align the entire thing to the center over here. If you want, you can go with Justify. You can do right alignment as well. I think I'm going to go with the right alignment. Now, Once I've done that, I want to add a button directly within this banner. So on the right, you can click on Insert, and under Insert, if you scroll down, you will find a button option. Click on the button, and I want to add a button to a separate page, which is going to be upcoming shows. And I'm going to build a separate page for that later. I'm just going to link it to A. And I'm just going to place this over here. Once I've placed it over here, I'm just going to change the style of this a bit. I'm just going to hold this button like so. I'm going to place it over here. And over here, I'm going to choose the text style as filled. I'm going to align this to the right or center. Yeah, I think the center looks better. Now, once I've done that, I can scroll down and start designing the next section of our home page. Now, for our home page, you do want a very general idea of your work to be displayed within your site. So you can use the amazing pre-built content block to add any type of content. You don't have to worry and think a lot about formations in this. You can just add a content block and this will add the blocks for you. And you can just add relevant information. So now I can just choose a image that I want to add. Let's say it's this image. I'm going to save this image and then click on save. And then we're going to go into our site. We can click on settings and we can, choose any type of content as well. We can add YouTube videos, Google Maps, calendars, forms, much more. But for this, we do want an image. So we're just going to upload an image like so. Then from here, I'm going to resize this image because I do want the image to be placed like so. And then I'm going to click on the right and I can enter my text. If I want to add different types of text, I can just remove this from here and then remove these pre-built blocks and delete them. Instead, I can just click on the text box, a different type of text box, resize it, and then I can place it here. Now, I do want to resize this a bit because a really decently sized box. And then I'm going to place in a title, which is going to be what to expect. And once I do that, I'm going to make this a bit stylized. So I'm going to add this as a heading. I'm going to be using this type of font and then changing the font color. Now, in the background, you guys can see it's white. So if you want to change the background of any section within your Google site, simply click on the left where you have section styles, and within that you have section colors. You will see that I have style 1 selected, and if I click on themes, you guys will see we have these styles. You can click on custom to create your own custom style, but currently you guys can see this has been selected, and in this what you can do is you can select how you want your font styles to look and how you want your background colors to look. So I can go with some of these basic ones, but if I want, I can even upload my own images. Now you might say, why would I want to add an image as a background? Well, if you go onto something like Canva, and I'm just going to take any basic canvas in this. So I'm just going to go on ahead, open up a blank canvas, and I'm going to show you guys how you can design some interesting backgrounds within a couple of seconds in Canva, which can elevate your Google Sites website. You can go into Elements, search for gradient, and then go into Photos or Graphics, and you're going to just take a look at all of these different gradients and pick out whichever one you like. I think this one is nice, but I want something that's really basic. And then I'm going to add some color in the background as well. Now I'm going to take a look at my site and what type of color scheme I want to use. I think I want to go with some really nice pastel pinks. So I'm going to change my background color in this to a pastel pink, like so. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of a gradient on all sides, like this. And this is just going to elevate your website and make all of your elements look a bit more interesting, like so. And I'm just going to place this over here. And then once I do that, I'm going to click on share, click on download, download this as a PNG, and then go back into Google And once your Canva download is completed, you're going to click on change background and then upload your own background images. Now, this is what is so amazing about using Google Sites as your website builder, is that it's so easy to use. So you guys can see you can adjust this for readability, but I'm not going to do that because I want to use black text on top, because this is a really nice and interesting contrast. So after that, I'm going to click on insert, and then I'm going to insert another paragraph text. Now over here, you can actually utilize a lot of AI tools to start building some content for you. If you go onto ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, or any AI tool of your choice, you can simply type out what you want to write, and it can write some really nice copy content for you. So what to expect at a Mrs. Maisel show. And we're just going to wait for this to be completed. Now I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to go back and we're just going to type in, and I'm just typing in some text as placeholder text because I don't want my website to look completely empty as we style the rest of our site. Now you guys can see my image is longer than my text. So it's going to look a bit better if I place my text to the center and then I add a bit of a gap, which means that I place this text a little down. And if you are not able to do that, simply place a couple of spaces like so. And now my text is more centered. And this just looks better as a section. I think one space is gonna look perfect. If I add two, it just is making it a bit too blocked for me. So I like this. Now moving on, what you can do to add a continuous gradient is that you're simply going to copy this, and then you're going to place it up top, okay? And you're going to take a look at how the gradient is looking. Then you're just going to flip this vertically. Then you're going to have this be placed on top, and then we can have this really beautiful continuous gradient as well. Now I'm going to remove the background gradient on this and extend this to the bottom. And let's say I want my gradient to fade out. So what I would do is I would just do this, do Command C, Command V, then expand it. Then I'm going to set the transparency for this section to be slightly different. So just go into transparency and then change it. Now, the more you do this in layers, the better the effect is going to be. Because if you have a really harsh line like this, it just means that the natural end of your gradient is too far ahead, like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into transparency, and I think I should let this gradient, no, it's going to become harsher as it goes. So I'm just going to place this over here, and then just to blend this out a bit more, I'm going to take pretty much the same gradient and then crop the rest of it like this to this section. Once I do that, I'm just going to place it over here to have like a smoother edge. This is still a bit too much, so I'm just going to search for round gradient, and I'm going to use, yeah, this looks fine. And then I'm going to go with a color like this, which is just going to help us in masking this little harsh line that we have. And it's better to just layer on these gradients instead of just placing them all in one little section. Like so. We're going to layer this out like so. And you guys can see now it's really seamless. And just move this around. Now I'm just going to click on download, and you will see the final effect on this on making your website look very cohesive and very well designed. Even though this is a Google site, you are still able to do a lot of customizations. So now I'm going to add our next section, and let's say that this is just going to be a button, divider, social links, placeholder, doc slide. We have a bunch of different options. For now, I'm going to be choosing, let's just say, this type of section but I'm going to switch the sides. Then I'm just going to add the image and then upload our secondary image like so. And then you're just going to expand your section. I'm going to be using the same image just because I'm using this as a placeholder image like this. And now you guys can see how beautiful this is going to look. Now you guys can see this has been adjusted for readability. I'm going to remove that. And now I have this really pretty gradient going across multiple sections, and then I can add more text elements. Now, if you have a brick and mortar store and you want to add things like privacy policies and your map location, then you're going to scroll to the bottom, and then you can use a divider to divide this and then add your footer. In your footer, let's say we're going to click on map and we are going to place, drop a place mark over here, select, and this is going to be our location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this to be a bit smaller simply because we're going to click on add footer and then drag our map over here like so. And then I'm just going to resize this to be larger, to be smaller. And then I'm going to delete it from this section. Then I'm going to click on edit footer and then I'm going to click on text box, find us or visit us. And then after that, I also want to add our social icons. So to do that, click on insert on the right, and then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see YouTube. Yeah, YouTube and social links. So you can link any of your socials. Facebook.com/MidgeMaisel, YouTube.com/MidgeMaisel, and then I'm just going to click on insert, and now I'm going to place them over here. Now I'm going to remove this little section where it says visit us. I just don't like it. Instead, I'm going to add a text box. I'm going to write visit us, but I'm going to resize this, hold it from these dots and place it right above over here. And once I've done that, in the next section of my footer, I can link to any privacy policy pages. Now, till now, we've only been designing one page. If you want to create multiple pages, simply go into pages on the right and then click on new page. Once you do that, you're going to name your new page, which is going to be our upcoming shows. And once I do that, I'm going to go back into the home page, click on my button for upcoming shows, and I'm going to link that. So I'm going to go into over here, click on our button, click on edit, and then I'm going to link to the page of upcoming shows. And whenever someone clicks on this, they would be led to the upcoming shows page. Now it's also going to show up in our navigation, but if you want to hide an item from the navigation, click on pages and then click on hide from navigation. This will hide that particular item, but I'm going to leave it as it is. Now I'm going to go into the upcoming shows page, click on the header type, and then choose it to be a title only. From there, I can click on insert. Now from here, you have two options. Maybe you only want to list out your upcoming shows, which you can list as we previously were building our home page. However, if you are using a booking tool, a calendar tool, then you can also link that tool over here. You can click on your Google Calendar and even embed that Google Calendar here, especially if you have your tour date set in that calendar. But let's just say we're doing this manually, so we can add this, and we are going to be using some footage for this. So we're gonna click on over here, and I think I'm just going to use a couple of different images for this. And we're just saving all of our images, going back into site, and then we're going to add wherever we're visiting. Let's say it's New York. Then let's say it's going to be all the big cities. So San Fran, and then LA, whatever, wherever, whatever. You're just going to add that here and then upload all of your images that you're going to be using. And if you want, you can build separate pages for all of this as well. So From there, you can click on pages and then add more details and then link those details here. Now, other than this, within Google Sites, you can actually change the entire look of your website by simply altering a theme. And if you want, you can even embed more functions. This includes selling items. So Google in itself is not a tool that allows you to sell items. However, you can sell items via a third-party checkout. So if you are someone that is interested in selling product or their tickets directly via Google Sites, I'm going to show you how. Our website is ready. Let's say I want to sell some product. So let's say we have a custom journal and I just want to link this on a separate page. I'm going to go into pages and then this is going to be my DIY journal. And then from here, I'm going to change the header type to title only. And then I'm going to click on text, and if I want to enter some text, I can do that as well. But if I directly want to create a buying link, all I have to do is go on to Stripe, and you do need to have a business account on Stripe. And once you do that, you can simply create a payment link in Stripe by adding your product in Stripe. So let's just wait for this to be loaded up. And then from there, we are just going to wait. So from there, you're going to go into product catalog and then click on create product. You're going to name your product. This is our DIY journal. Choose an image, choose the type of payment this is going to have. Let's say it's going to be $20, not $120, just $20. Click on add product. And you can add all of the relevant details about your product here. Then you're going to click on payment links and then click on new. Once you click on new over here, you are going to go into the next step. So we're just waiting, and then click on add. And then we're just going to select our product from here. And we're going to let our customers adjust the quantity between 1 to, let's say, 18. 1 to 9. Not too many. Then if you want, you can collect taxes, addresses, require phone numbers, and then click on create link. Once you create this link, all you have to do is embed this buy button. So you even have your own QR code. If you want, you can just copy this link and paste it onto the page, but that's not going to look very beautiful. Instead, if you click on the buy button, this will give you a code. So if you want a card or a button, type button, and it will show you a preview of both as well. Copy this code and go back into Google. Click on embed, and you can embed this by URL or embed the code. So instead of the code, I'm going to embed the URL because I know it just has the results quicker. And then click on insert. Once you click on insert, the page is now being synced up, and you guys can see we have the buy button card. Now what I like to do is I like to make sure to expand this to its fullest extent, because if you do not expand it to its fullest extent, it just looks like a page within a page. But if you do have it, set up properly and it looks nice, then it does look like a very integrated part of your Google site. It's really so easy and simple to elevate your site with these few, site basics. So ensure that you do have privacy policies as well as shipping policies or delivery policies if you're selling products, because they elevate your site and make it far more professional. Not only do they make it professional, but they also ensure that no one scams you or you don't scam anyone either. And if you have a lot of content that you want to sync up, you can directly upload all of the images you're looking to use into your Google Drive. From there, you can just select Drive and then select the images you've already uploaded one by one whenever you're needing to include the images. Not only that, but if you want to add more information, you can add it in the form of a collapsible group. So if I want to add my upcoming shows and I have a lot of different shows, I can simply categorize them in the form of different states, and I can show within each state where am I performing. Then we can also add image carousels, buttons, dividers, spacers, placeholders, and other elements to elevate our site. Once all of this is completed, you can go back and click on the top right to preview what your website is going to look like. You can preview for both laptops, tablets, and mobile devices to ensure that your website is integrated seamlessly throughout. Once you're satisfied, you can click on the settings and you can choose the navigation. If you want your navigation on the side or on the top, I want this on the side and I want it to be white. Then I'm going to go into brand images. From here, you can upload your logo, which can be displayed on the top left, and your favicon, which is going to be displayed whenever someone opens up your tab. You also have viewer tools and then custom domains. So if you already own your own custom domain, you can click on Start Setup to start setting up your custom domain. Then you have analytics and announcement bars if you want to add any type of announcement to your site. And then just click on Publish. And we're going to publish our website with our free domain name with Google. And just like that, we have our website on Google ready. It's a full-fledged website which has all of the features you would normally see in any portfolio site. And we can view our website simply by clicking on over here, and we can click on Open a new tab to view our newly created website. And just like that, our website is ready. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or queries, you guys can leave those in the comments down below. I would love to know what you guys have to say, and have a great day ahead.